Welcome everyone to this explainer. Okay, so if you've spent, more than 5 minutes poking around the crypto space, you've absolutely heard the phrase, do your own research, or DYOR. But let's be totally honest with each other right off the bat here. How incredibly frustrating is it when people just toss that acronym around as a lazy cop-out disclaimer? Like they'll shout DYOR from the rooftops right after giving you a hot tip, but literally nobody actually tells you how to do it. Well, that ends today. We're going to take that super frustrating buzzword and turn it into a highly practical toolkit. This brings us to what I like to call the DYOR dilemma. The phrase is everywhere, but without a real method, it's pretty much meaningless. So today we're taking a deeply curious yet highly skeptical approach. We're building a tangible, step-by-step investigator's toolkit designed specifically to help you spot massive red flags before you ever invest a single dime. Think of this explainer as, basically your defensive driving course for crypto. So here's our roadmap for today. First, moving beyond the disclaimer. Second, utility and max supply. Third, following the token supply. Fourth, spotting compliance red flags. And finally, number 5, the team and community. All right, kicking things off with section 1, moving beyond the disclaimer. We've got 7 crucial checkpoints we're going to investigate together. We'll start with utility and then max supply to understand what the token actually does and exactly how many exist. Then wallet distribution and block explorers to see who holds the power. Next up, we'll scan for compliance warning signs and finally wrap things up by verifying team visibility and the overall community vibe. Mastering these 7 steps, that's how you make sure you aren't just walking blindly into a trap. Moving right along to section 2, utility and max supply. Step 1 of our toolkit asks the most fundamental question you could possibly imagine. Does it actually do anything? Seriously, is the token solving a real problem out in the world? Is there a tangible roadmap? Or is it strictly driven by community speculation? Because if you can't clearly define the actual problem a project solves, you got to recognize that you're relying purely on hope, not fundamentals. Now, what's genuinely fascinating is how blatantly honest some of these projects actually are if you just, bother to read their materials. Take PayPay, for example. If you dig into their website, it openly reveals that the token has, and I quote, no intrinsic value and is completely useless. Like, it is explicitly for entertainment purposes only. Now, hey, memes are perfectly fine, provided you understand the difference between investing in real utility and just gambling on pure speculation. The red flag isn't necessarily that it's a meme coin. The red flag is investing in a meme coin while foolishly thinking it's some world-changing utility. So, understanding value is key, which brings us to step 2, max supply. This is absolutely crucial. The upside math of an investment shifts dramatically depending on the total supply. It's just basic supply and demand, right? If a token has a maximum supply of 21 million, scarcity is built right in. But if the supply is 420 trillion or even infinite, the buying pressure required to move the price up is astronomically higher. You have to know how many tokens will ever exist. Let's put that into perspective with some real-world examples. Check out the neatly capped maximum supplies of Bitcoin at 21 million and XRP at 100 billion. Those are fixed, hard numbers. Now contrast that with PepPay, sitting at an absolutely mind-boggling 413 trillion tokens, or Dogecoin, which literally features an actual infinity symbol for its max supply. If a coin has infinite supply, your share is just constantly being diluted. So always check the max supply on a platform like CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. All right, section 3, following the token supply. Because it's not enough to just know the raw numbers. Step 3 is all about wallet distribution. You need to ask, who actually holds the supply? You're actively hunting for massive red flags here. Like if you see single wallets holding disproportionately high percentages of the total token supply, you need to be incredibly careful. If one person holds 30% of all the tokens, they essentially control the entire market for that asset. They could crash the price at a moment's notice just by selling off. And how do you actually find that out? Well, that brings us to step 4, checking a block explorer. A block explorer is basically just a search engine for a blockchain. To verify the supply distribution we were just talking about, you have to check the project's token address on an explorer. Now, if the project is pre-launch and doesn't have a token on a block explorer quite yet, you got to read their white paper to find their intended distribution formula. And honestly, if they won't tell you exactly how the tokens are being divided up, just walk away. Okay, section 4, spotting compliance red flags. Step 5 is your compliance check. You really need to critically evaluate the project's website. Are they doing things by the book? Look for standard legal disclaimers. And more importantly, be highly skeptical of any outrageous guaranteed profit claims. Listen, in crypto, just like in traditional finance, there are zero guarantees. If a website is out there promising you a fixed daily return or guaranteed wealth, your internal alarm bells should be ringing at full volume. Here's exactly what you do not want to see. Finding a geo-restricted site that explicitly says not available in your country? Yeah, that often means they're actively dodging regulatory scrutiny in major jurisdictions. Or what about a suspended X account? Platforms suspend accounts that violate rules, spam people, or engage in fraudulent behavior. If a project's main communication channel is outright banned, that is a giant neon red flag. And here's another classic deception to watch out for: fake partnerships. Look out for things like a terribly cropped MasterCard logo slapped onto a page. Scam projects absolutely love to borrow the credibility of massive global brands like Visa, MasterCard, or Google to give you this completely false sense of security. They want you thinking, oh, well, if MasterCard trusts them, I totally can too. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's completely fabricated. Always verify partnerships on the official channels of the supposed partner company. All right, moving to our final phase, Section 5, the team and community. Step 6 asks a simple question. Is the team visible? Look, you are trusting these people with your money. Can you actually verify them on LinkedIn as real people with actual verifiable careers? Or are they just anonymous avatars on X who completely refuse to share their real info? Now, I know anonymity has a deep history in crypto, Bitcoin's creator being the ultimate example. But in today's market, you should strongly prefer to work with projects driven by real people who are putting their actual professional reputations on the line. Finally, we have Step 7. What is the community vibe? Before you buy anything, do yourself a favor and join the project's Discord or Telegram. Just sit there and read the chat for like 10 minutes. Are members having helpful, decent technical conversations about the project's future and utility? Or is it just a frantic echo chamber of pure hype where any genuine, thoughtful question is just aggressively shouted down? If the entire chat consists of people spamming the infamous phrase, "when moon," literally just run. This short-sighted, highly speculative mindset is the exact type of shallow community vibe an educated investor should avoid at all costs. A community that only cares about instant price pumps will abandon the project the absolute second the price dips, leaving you holding the bag. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to internalize this core message. This 7-step process isn't some magical, exhaustive list that guarantees you'll be a crypto millionaire, but it is an incredibly solid foundation. Maintaining a curious but highly skeptical mindset is hands down your ultimate defense in this space. Ask the hard questions, check those block explorers, verify the teams, and always read the fine print. Remember, your job as an investor isn't to find reasons to say yes, it's to ruthlessly hunt for reasons to say no. If you see enough red flags, you just keep walking. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. The very next time a friend or some influencer pitches you a can't-miss crypto tip, are you going to utilize this toolkit and actually do the research? Or are you just going to blindly throw your money in and hope you get lucky? The choice and the research is completely yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.